Be interesting, especially if you're playing out as a solo. You're gonna have to just recycle tarps, see what you can do to stay up. But Thomas HD Trip, they've been playing so well, playing so confident. And now with one elimination going into the late game, I would not be surprised if that number keeps going up and up.
These guys just like to slide and sneak their way around everywhere. But now the grapple gloves will allow them to glide gracefully through the sky into a nice little position where they can start taking shots at other players. And we know just how much they love to do that. But for Thomas HD and Trippin, they aren't the only teams in the lobby that possess that type of firepower. Mrsavage and H up on high ground. This is an unfamiliar place for us to see them in round fours. They barely are able to make it here together at times. But in this game, here in game 3, Mrsavage and H up on high.
This is what they need though, Levin. They need a victory royale. They want to bump themselves up into the leaderboard. It is top 5 that qualify directly to the finals. It's Snazy and Andalex now with 73 points, 3rd place spot. They want to maintain that consistency. They already have one elimination, but they have to begin to rotate now. Opposite side of the zone. It's pulling north even further. And this is just chaotic, dangerous. This is not a position where you want to stay open and you want to build, you want to use those materials.
Yeah, Thomas and Trippin now looking to get to the front of the zone. Landing in the same box, that's going to be the key. T-Chips now, again as a solo, doesn't have outskill with him, but that's not going to be important. What is important is, what does he do? With just Wood left at this stage in the game, there's going to have to be a refresh, a big shot that comes from somewhere. Berry's at the bottom of your screen, Mrsavage at the top, and everybody somewhere in the middle, and just squeezing each other out. Dioxo and Booback together again. But what can they do with these shotguns in hands? They're going to just look to run into some sort of safety. And safety is what they will find, but an elimination is what they want. 300 wood available for Diox, but plenty more available from other teams. Snazy as a solo now to Carter. He doesn't even have Andalex, but we've seen Snazy with big clutches before.
Snazy inside of a dip, though. This could be incredibly dangerous if the zone pulls back up that ridge, but Camiseti still up as a duo, just securing another knock, gonna put them up to 3 eliminations.
They're going
Once
for
they
it.
secure that, they want the loot. They go down, but the zone pulls back up. They're gonna have to go up the ridge now. This could be dangerous. They have to think fast here, as they don't have too many materials to work with. But meanwhile, there's so many players on the mid ground, on the high ground, on that ledge with that positional advantage. But Thomas HD down to minuscule HP alongside Tripper, but they want that engagement. Tripper goes down. Thomas HD now up as a solo, gets the first shot. It's not enough for an elimination though, and he ultimately goes down.
Thomas taken out. He was working with scraps there when it comes to HP, but nevertheless, for the other players, all trying to do one thing, get up the hill. And when Mr. and H are blocking the pathway, things are never too great. Squeeze now with no materials. I don't know how he's got by this far, but this is what he needs to do. He needs to jump in this box if he wants something. He needs to hit a shot. That's actually really nice. Able to find something, but ultimately taking out the game, and not just taking out the game by anyone. It's Snazy who does the final blow. Snazy now with the med miss, staying in the zone.
Making it up that ridge as a solo, gets into zone now, using that med miss to play the zone even longer. As H and Mrsavage still have this high ground. They are dominating from above. 6 total eliminations now for the duo. Looking to get some more here as H is connecting all of his shots with that SMG. And now, with just 4 duos left, 7 players up, Snazy looking to make something happen. He has to get back to the zone. Misses the shotgun shot, connects the SMGs, but it's not enough for that elimination. He has to take the shot. He does, but will he be able to get the snipe? And he does.
Yes!
Snazy is still up with 4 eliminations now with the chug splashes, but he has to make it back to the zone. 14-4, and he gets eliminated to H and Mrsavage, who secure the victory royale.
Simply breathtaking for H and Mrsavage, a team with so many eyes on them and showing us why people around the world support them and believe in them. H showing that he is a former FNCS champion.
But Jan is now getting shot from above. He has to be careful.
They need to stay alive, and that's not gonna happen. Janice will fall, and that's not the only thing left. It looks like Nebs is trying to take it from Vidil. Vidil dropping down. He now has to take some time to heal off. But for Nevs and Marine to take high ground, they're following the trends. They're seeing what their peers are doing, and they want to follow suit. Need to be careful that they don't get chopped. The materials aren't looking too strong. It looks like it's just down to wood. These two need to find an elimination and fast. And if they're not careful, Ref's guard in the back of the zone might even take height from them.
But Thomas HD, he has been playing as a solo for so long, and he is still going strong. Gets ahead of the zone here. Only one charge left for the grapple glove, but he has to get something here. He only has 3 builds left. He needs a refresh. He needs some materials, either through an elimination or even possibly using the grapple glove, but he gets that elimination. Now, is he going to be able to pick up the loot? Be careful. An opponent drops down in, cuts off that angle for the materials, but Thomas HD knows how much he needs it as he tanks a bit of storm here. He does have the med mist if he wants to secure a new angle, but he goes in.
Just a siphon mats available. Thomas might have to just stay alive for a much bit longer, but Mrsavage and H up on height again, looking to do the back-to-back. Can they do it? Up above with not much materials for H, and so he has his eyes set on Fray, but they have their eyes set on height, and so it's going to be a clash of heads above. For Andalex and Snazy though, they're currently this team sitting in first, and they're just focused on winning out the game, not from high ground though, because Fray and Coldfan will be the ones to take it.
These high ground engagements are not stopping as H goes directly into Cammy's box, knocking him out of the match, but he has lost Mrsavage. That's one more solo to play it out here. He does have multiple charges in the grapple glove, so he has that mobility, that opportunity to get ahead of the zone, but he has to be careful. It's Snazy, it's Andalex, our #1 duo. Close by is Marine. Now, just one sniff away, one cough of getting eliminated here with 3 HP as Andalex now making use of the harpoon, fishing up that loot that he needs, but he has to be careful. His duo partner has been cracked, but they group up and they look to make something happen.
Yeah, these guys have literally been like a hoover on some of these layers, cleaning and sweeping up everything in their sights. But you can see right now, PKR and Teak, they might have the one up on them. They know where they are. There's just one wood wall in between them, and now creating a bit of separation as they don't quite want that smoke. But there is still plenty of fire above. Andalex and Snazy though, what can they do? Can they get out of this clutter of builds? Can they find their own layer? Can they fight for their right to stay in the game? PKR and Teak make it just so awkward for them. And so now Andalex now really just prioritizing getting to the front. He'll tank some damage for it. The solo does not care though. He wants to deal some damage, but he'll ultimately be forced out of the way. And PKR and Teak once again going at the neck of the Frenchies.
And they're not done yet, going into their opponent's box, but Teak goes down. It's Andalex, it's Snazy. 6 eliminations for Snazy, 3 for Andalex, and they're not done yet. The heat coming from the low ground as Coldfan and Fray are still on the high ground. We have yet another 2 versus 2, high ground versus low ground. Both duos here. It's the #1 duo versus the #2 duo as Coldfan secures 1. Now in the 1 versus 2, they have the player advantage. They just have to get that last connection, and they do. Fray and Coldfan take game 4.
So many eliminations come with it as well. We talked earlier in the game about how they want to put